And now I want to invite you to a little bit more about Lisa. My why. I'm a very private person because the more I've done this work, the more you just protect a little bit of what you have. The little bit of what you have. For me, that's family and friends and health. But relative to family, I shared with you I've been a lot of things. Been a single mom raising a kid. When I was raising my kid, who's still my kiddo, who's a grown woman, but that's my girl, Amani, I-M-A-N-I. Her name is Amani. For those of you who don't know that Swahili, it means faith. And when I was carrying her, I thought I would have to pull out all the faith I had and what would be next and for what would be next for both of us. And I stand very grateful for what faith has done for us. But I want to share with you something I found over the last several months, particularly as I have prepared and transitioned the loss of my own father, but just going through family information. And I came across a reminder for me around the why. My great-grandfather, my granddaddy, grandpa, we call him grandpa, from Macon, Georgia, grandpa. Amani's great-grandfather, my grandpa, who is now deceased, died at 96. His mother was 106 when she passed. He passed at 96. Amani was in second grade. And Amani was asked to interview the oldest person that she knew. At that time, I was maybe 30, 31. And I was doing what good mothers do when kids have been given assignments, helping with the interview. So what you're about to see is a little bit of Amani, a lot of my grandpa. You won't see me, but you'll hear me in the background. Don't judge me. I was being a mama. But most importantly, I actually want to share with you my why. I grew up with both sets of my grandparents. My parents were married 52 years, would have been 53 years, May 31st of this year. I grew up on front porches. I grew up, shelling peas and shucking corn. Yeah. I grew up hearing stories that made me curious and that made me cry. And my daughter and I had the gift of being reminded about the why for us. So one thing my grandpa always shared with us: learning is the most important thing you can do, Lisa. Wallace, John, Moses, Belinda, all of us, all my cousins, he would always tell us that. And he told us the reason why was quite personal. I'm going to invite you to listen to his why, which is my why, which is Amani's why, which is my family's why. And I'm going to think that it might not be too different from what some of your whys might be, but this is just mine. So I found this gem of a clip. Amani is interviewing the oldest person she knew at the time, and he's going to speak to us around why education is important, at least for me and my family, because of what he did not have the opportunity to do.
Welcome to another edition of the Village Chiefs. We have a new special guest today named Mr. Jordan here. Mr. Jordan Thomas.
John?
Let's give it up for Mr. John Thomas.
Good.
Jordan. Start over. Come on, just go back right over there and do it again. Like, what is Grandpa's name?
Mr. John Jordan Thomas.
John Thomas Jordan Sr.
Senior.
Okay, get right there. Get up.
Welcome
Now, stay right there while you say all of that.
back to the show.
Welcome to the Village
Welcome to
Chiefs.
another edition of the Village Chiefs. We have another new special guest, Mr. John Thomas Jordan Sr. Let's give it up for Mr. John Thomas Jordan Sr. John Thomas. Mr. Grandpa, I have 4 questions to give you. Tell me your parents' name and where you are from.
I'm from Putnam County. I was born and raised in Putnam County. married my wife in Putnam County. She was born and raised in Putnam County.
So that's where you met her also?
That's right.
What's her name?
She was named Olson Veronica. Because when I married, she was Olson Jordan.
So, how many years did you guys, how many years were you two married?
63 years.
That's a very long time.
Yeah, 63 years.
Well, when did you start school, and how long did you stay?
I went to school one day. And that's all I went to school. And then going to school that day, I learned my ABCs, and that's all I learned. And the reason I didn't go to school, my dad was a sharecropper. And we had to go to his field. They didn't let us go to school. And so that's the reason I didn't learn no more.
That's very sad to hear.
Yeah.
Well,
And so Amani says, that's right, just give it up for Amani and Grandpa. One day, Grandpa said, one day, I went to school, Lisa, one day my entire life. And he'd say, and in that one day I learned my ABCs. And then he'd recite them, because that's all he'd learned. At 96, he did die illiterate, but he also died the smartest man I ever knew, to be clear. Very smart, very fiscally savvy, managed his money well, but my story isn't very different from a lot of other stories. That porch that they were sitting on was, where are you, McBride? It was Bird City, housing authority in Macon, Georgia. I grew up on those steps, always fed well with stories and food and love, but that's our reality. Here's Imani today, Spelman College class of 2019. To the right is my grandpa in that picture. To the far left, that's Grandpa. He did his best to make it to every graduation. We asked him often about doing literacy programs. I would say, Grandpa, I could teach you to read. I can do it, Grandpa. And his response was consistently the same. Don't worry about me. I need for you all to learn. And in the best way he could articulate it, he would just simply say, get all the learning you can, because what you get between your ears, no one can ever take it away. Also in this picture, you see my three brothers, and in the center is my brother John, graduating from Fort Valley. Wallace graduated from Tuskegee. Moses graduated from Beulah Heights Bible College. And the smooth man with the shades on is my daddy, Reverend Wallace Herring Sr. And you see them with their fists all on top because we celebrated education. We celebrated the power of what it means. And then for me, it was just clear, my calling. For whatever someone else didn't get, I would make sure that every child would. That's your superintendent. As you provide the grace for all of us to grow, my charge to you is not complicated. We can do this work. And because we are transitioning out of the most unique season in our lives, we have to do it better than we've ever done before. We have to. We don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. So my charge to you is to start to prepare your mind for receiving our scholars, for preparing them and receiving them in such a way that they will be better because they came across you or someone in your building. Better, not bitter. Be clear. Better, not bitter. In the history of Atlanta Public Schools, and the history of the place where I am so humbled and honored to serve, is that we've created just that, legacies exemplars. This year and subsequent years will not be any different. And let me tell you why. Because you're sitting in this room today. And because you're in this room today, you heard the call and you've received the charge. And I know that there was one more task team that I was supposed to do, but I'm going to just leave us with the expectation of excellence, that you will do this work in the spirit of excellence that's tied to your story and the 52,000 stories that come in front of us every single day. And when we are confronted with challenges around getting it right, we won't lose patience with one another. Instead, with calmness and with clarity, we will figure it out. Because it's not about us, it's about the kids that we serve. Let me put OC down. My hand went right on my hip. I felt it. That wasn't me, that was my grandma. I couldn't help it. I'm happy to serve you. I'm honored to be your superintendent. I am proud of the leaders that are in this room, seasoned and brand new. But most importantly, I am over the moon excited about the work that is about to transform the city of Atlanta, Atlanta Public Schools, the children that we serve, and the state of Georgia, because you are our leaders who will do it. And in just a matter of weeks, our scholars who will then show it will shine. It's my honor to welcome you to Leadership 2021. Thank you.